This is DD India. You are watching the Defense Dynamics and I'm Danveer Singh from New Delhi. Pakistan's terror machinery, fueled by state-backed outfits like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, continue to pose a direct threat to regional peace, as seen in the recent Pahalgam terror attack that has claimed innocent lives, including a foreign national. India has responded with precision, launching Operation Sindoor, and has neutralized multiple target hubs in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and that has been without targeting Pakistan military assets and the civilian population. This has reinforced our doctrine of hitting terror and not civilians. What has followed was a desperate retaliation by Pakistan. A flurry of drones and missile strikes along the Western Front all have been repelled by India's robust air defense shield. Adding to the evidence, visuals have emerged from Pakistani army officials attending funerals of terrorists. This has exposed once again Islamabad's open complicity with jihadist network. India isn't just countering bombs and bullets, it is also taking on propaganda. OTT platforms have now been directed to remove all the Pakistani origin content that threatens national integrity. In this fight of trust against terror, of sovereignty against subversion, India stands resolute, vigilant, and ready. Pakistan's internal security landscape continues to be shaped by deeply entrenched ecosystem of terror groups, state actors, and covert alliances. Despite decades of international pressure and global scrutiny, the terrorist organizations such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan remain operational across countries' urban centers and border regions. Lashkar-e-Taiba held responsible for 2008 Mumbai attacks, and Jaish-e-Mohammed, which orchestrated 2019 Pulwama bombing, are reportedly operating with state tolerance, maintaining safe havens in Pakistan's Punjab and Sindh simultaneously. The Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan is resurging after years of military crackdowns, launching deadly cross-border attacks from bases near Afghanistan on Pakistan frontier. Multiple intelligence assessments and security sources allege that Pakistan's powerful spy agency, the Inter-Services Intelligence, has long used these militant outfits as strategic assets to extend influence in the region. Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and even elements of Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan have reportedly received financial support, sanctuary, and operational guidance from ISI over the years. Pakistan's broader terror infrastructure involves several lesser-known but equally dangerous groups. The Haqqani network, known to operate with semi-autonomous status under ISI patronage, functioned along Afghanistan-Pakistan border, serving as a bridge between Taliban factions and Pakistan intelligence. Islamic State Khorasan Province, or ISISK, an offshoot formed from TTP defectors, maintains operational bases in eastern Afghanistan and part of Pakistan's tribal belt, needless to say, under the patronage of ISI. Harkat-ul-Mujahideen also plays a critical recruitment role, feeding manpower into Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and it is particularly active within Pakistan's religious seminary networks, where it reportedly channels over 60% of its recruits into jihadist operations. Pakistan ties to extremist groups are supported by hard evidence beyond mere acquisition. These include testimonies from defectors,
international intelligence reports, and financial surveillance mechanisms. According to the South Asia Terrorism Portal, since 2000 there have been 12,040 attacks inside Jammu and Kashmir alone, resulting in deaths of 4,981 civilians, 3,624 security personnel, and also the Indian Army has eliminated 13,391 terrorists. India and much of the world has accused Pakistan over the years for nurturing extremist terrorists as an instrument of policy, flexing muscles to advance Pakistan's strategic goals. Statements of top Pakistani officials over the years has reinforced these findings. Former President Pervez Musharraf admitted to training militants for operations in Kashmir. Former Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif acknowledged that Pakistani state had backed militant groups for strategic depth. And more recently, Pakistan's current foreign minister publicly confessed that country had done the dirty work of Western powers, indirectly acknowledging deep-rooted covert operations. While Islamabad officially denies providing support to militant organizations, UN agencies and international watchdogs continue to flag terror financing channels operating from major urban hubs including Karachi and Lahore. Security experts warn that unless Pakistan dismantles its sprawling terror apparatus, the region risks slipping into a deeper instability, especially as tensions rise in post-US withdrawal Afghanistan. The multi-headed threat posed by these interconnected terror entities remain active, adaptive, and highly destabilizing to South Asian security architecture.
For decades, India has grappled with unrelenting terrorism emanating from Pakistan. In this report, we examine the long-standing challenge, the attacks, their impact, and India's determined response to cross-border terrorism. The report that we are going to show will showcase how India has been confronting terrorism originating from Pakistan. As the world stepped into new millennium, India continued to face menace of cross-border terrorism, meticulously planned and executed from Pakistani soil. India, in fact, has been a long victim of terrorism linked to Pakistan. Several major terror attacks in India have been traced to Pakistan-based or Pakistan-backed terror groups.
In 2001, attack on Indian Parliament. It was a direct assault on the temple of Indian democracy. 9 people were killed and 18 injured. In year 2002, Akshardham temple attack in Gandhinagar. 31 killed and 80 injured. In 2008, Mumbai terror attack. Coordinated strikes by Lashkar-e-Taiba operatives. Casualties were very high. 164 killed and over 300 injured. In year 2016, Uri attack. 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists targeted an army brigade headquarters, killing 20 and injuring 21. This was one of the deadliest attacks on Indian forces in Kashmir in nearly 2 decades. In 2016, attack on Indian Air Force base in Pathankot, followed by 2019's Pulwama suicide bombing that targeted Indian security personnel, killing 40 and injuring 5. In 2025, recent Pahalgam attack, a terror strike that shook the nation's conscience, the casualties, civilian tourists killed and 17 injured. In the last decade alone, more than 350 Indian civilians have lost their lives to cross-border terrorism, with over 800 injured in these brutal attacks. Additionally, over 600 security personnel have been martyred and more than 1,400 injured while defending the country from this threat. India's response has been firm and multi-pronged.
partially repeat myself from yesterday, I think Pakistan's reputation as the epicenter of global terrorism is rooted in a number of instances where concrete evidence is available, not just to India, but to governments and authorities and agencies around the world. There are several terrorist attacks around the world where Pakistani fingerprints have been found. I don't need to belabor the point with regard to this audience about where Osama bin Laden was found and who called him a martyr. Pakistan has also for decades pursued cross-border terrorism into India with impunity, and as I said yesterday also, in order to deliberately mislead the international community, they claimed that the terrorist Sajid Mir was dead. They came under pressure, and Sajid Mir was then brought back to life, arrested, and is now apparently in Pakistani custody. Pakistan is also home to a very large number of UN proscribed as well as UN proscribed terrorists, as well as terrorists proscribed by a number of other governments in the world, including, of course, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed, as well as their leaders, Masood Azhar and Hafiz Mohammed Saeed.
The New Delhi has consistently highlighted Pakistan's role in cross-border terrorism at international forums, while also bolstering its domestic security, intelligence and counter-terror capabilities.
Today, from the soil of Bihar, I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go unpunished. Every effort will be made to ensure that justice is done. The entire nation is firm in this resolve. Everyone who believes in humanity is with us. I thank the people of various countries and their leaders who have stood with us in these times.
India has not remained silent. In 2016, surgical strikes were carried out by the Indian Army. They were launched post-Uri attack, targeting terror launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. In 2019, Indian Air Force struck Balakot, a direct response to Pulwama attack targeting the Jaish-e-Mohammed training camp in Pakistan. And year 2025, following the Pahalgam attack, India has carried out precision missile strikes on suspected terror infrastructure in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir as part of Operation Sindoor.
On the night of 7th of May, Indian armed forces avenged the massacre carried out by TRF, killing 26 innocent tourists at Pahalgam. Indian armed forces struck with precision and lightning speed on various targets in Pakistan, culling out 9 Pakistani terror headquarters and camps as shown on this map. To begin with, let's start from the south. The most important, Markaz Subhanallah Bahawalpur, Jaish-e-Mohammed, this is a place, was the area from where Pulwama was planned. Lashkar-e-Taiba's Murid K at this location, Markaz-Taiba, that was also eliminated, that was also destroyed, and this is the place from where Mumbai attack was planned. This is the place where all top terrorists that attacked Mumbai had come and taken training. And likewise, Sarjal at Tarakala, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Mehmona Joya, Sialkot, that is Hizbul Mujahideen, then Masjid Al-Hadid, Barnala, Lashkar-e-Taiba. Up in the north is Maskar, Rahil, Shahid, Kotli, and in fact Kotli suffered a very heavy casualty in the strikes that took place on the night of May 7th. Up above Kotli is Maskar, Masjid Abbas of Jaish-e-Mohammed, then Saidna Bilal camp, Muzaffarabad, and right on top is Sahewai Nala camp, Muzaffarabad of Lashkar-e-Taiba. Just a day after India launched Operation Sindoor, Pakistan's military was caught on camera doing what it has long denied, openly backing terror groups. In full uniform, Pakistan Army officers were seen attending the funeral of terrorists eliminated in India's pinpointed strikes on Lashkar-e-Taiba facility at Murid K. Among those seen leading the namaz-e-janaza was Hafiz Abdul Rauf, a senior Lashkar commander designated as terrorist by both India and the United States. His presence and that of the Pakistani army personnel that were captured in the video and also confirmed by New York Times, providing fresh evidence of Islamabad's direct involvement with the terror networks. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri slammed the hypocrisy, stating, "If only civilians were killed, what does this picture signify?" Holding up the image of Rauf presiding over the funeral of these targeted terrorists in Operation Sindoor, this isn't an isolated incident in the series of recent admissions. Pakistan's own top leaders, including Defense Minister Mr. Khwaja Asif and former Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto, have publicly conceded to using terrorism as a tool of state policy. These confessions further validate India's long-standing concerns from our neighborhood. Tensions soared along the Western Front as Pakistani armed forces launched coordinated drone and missile attacks across the entire western border on the intervening night of May 8 and 9th of 2025. The Indian Army confirmed multiple ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, calling it an unprovoked escalation. India's response has been swift and resolute. Indian Army released visuals confirming that drone intrusions were effectively repelled and ceasefire violations were met with a firm and a befitting reply. No casualties have been reported on the Indian side, a testament to India's robust air defense and real-time operational readiness. According to defense officials, key locations including Satwari, Samba, Arispura and Arnia were targeted, but all threats were neutralized. Pakistan's offensive is seen as a desperate retaliation following India's precision strike under Operation Sindoor, which targeted terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian strikes were careful not to hit Pakistani military infrastructure, a point New Delhi has reiterated. In a dynamic escalation, Pakistani air defense system in Lahore was neutralized by India after failed attempt to target Indian military bases in Avantipura, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Batinda, Chandigarh and right down south up to Bhuj. But every drone and missile was intercepted and destroyed by India's integrated counter UAS grid and air defense systems.
Despite Pakistan's repeated assurances, especially after being delisted by the Financial Action Task Force FATF in year 2023, the US State Department's report made it clear that Islamabad is yet to fully dismantle terror groups operating from its soil. India is now pushing the latest evidence to United Nations Security Council, and the National Security Advisor is actively engaging global partners to build consensus, not only to isolate Pakistan diplomatically but also to curb financial support, including the IMF aid. India's message is clear: Pakistan cannot claim to be a victim of terrorism while hosting its masterminds. Global support is growing, and New Delhi's right to retaliate has found both validation and backing from key world powers. The message from New Delhi is unambiguous: terror and its enablers will be met with decisive force.
Tensions soared along the Western Front as Pakistani armed forces launched coordinated drone and missile attacks across the entire western border on the intervening night of May 8 and 9th of 2025. The Indian Army confirmed multiple ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir, calling it an unprovoked escalation. India's response has been swift and resolute. Indian Army released visuals confirming that drone intrusions were effectively repelled and ceasefire violations were met with a firm and a befitting reply. No casualties have been reported on the Indian side, a testament to India's robust air defense and real-time operational readiness. According to defense officials, key locations including Satwari, Samba, Arispura and Arnia were targeted, but all threats were neutralized. Pakistan's offensive is seen as a desperate retaliation following India's precision strike under Operation Sindoor, which targeted terrorist camps in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian strikes were careful not to hit Pakistani military infrastructure, a point New Delhi has reiterated. In a dynamic escalation, Pakistani air defense system in Lahore was neutralized by India after failed attempt to target Indian military bases in Avantipura, Jammu, Pathankot, Amritsar, Bathinda, Chandigarh and right down south up to Bhuj. But every drone and missile was intercepted and destroyed by India's integrated counter UAS grid and air defense systems.
In a separate incident, the BSF foiled a major infiltration attempt in Samba district on Thursday night, further exposing Pakistan's continuing support for cross-border terrorism. As a precaution, Civil Aviation Ministry has suspended civilian flight operations at 24 airports across northern India. Enhanced security protocols have also been enforced, including 100% CCTV serviceability checks, secondary ladder point inspection, and deployment of in-flight security officers. As India remains vigilant, its forces are fully prepared to defend national sovereignty.
In a firm and coordinated move against disinformation and cross-border propaganda, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has launched a nationwide social media campaign under the banner #IndiaFightsPropaganda. All departments and media units, especially PIB's Fact Check Unit, have been directed to adopt this hashtag across platforms and update their profile pictures to reflect national solidarity. And now, in a major advisory, the ministry has also issued strict guidelines to OTT platforms, media streaming services, and digital intermediaries, invoking Information Technology Rules of 2021. The advisory warns that any content, including web series, films, music, or podcasts of Pakistani origin that may affect India's sovereignty, defense, public order, or diplomatic relations must be immediately discontinued. The move is backed by provisions that specifically hold digital publishers accountable for hosting or promoting material that could endanger national security or promote cross-border terrorism. The Indian government has made it clear entertainment cannot come at the cost of national integrity. The message to the platforms is simple: If it originates from a hostile neighbor that shelters terrorists, it has no place in India's digital domain. We urge our viewers to stand with this national effort. Join the campaign, share responsibly, and remember, India fights propaganda with the truth. And with this, we come to the end of this special episode. See you next week with new stories and their analysis. Thanks for watching, and do post your comments on social media with #DD with Danveer. Goodbye and take care.